comes to us for comment from Matthew in Great Britain, and he wants to know, of the players on tour now, who's my favorite swing relative to what I see, what I like people to do, or that would match what I'm teaching. Well, the question for that would be, first of all, what part? Because there's a lot of players that have different parts. Any of these players now, which it's most of them, have figured this out, and I've been talking about this for 35 years because we've talked about how it's like throwing a baseball and you don't need a lot of forearm rotation. So any of these guys who have figured out how to get the club where the face at this point, and they're downswing somewhere from right here to right there, the face is at a 90-degree angle to their swing arc, and as it swings through the ball, it maintains that angle. So anybody who's learned, get it here, and then it maintains that angle. So the face is closing to the target line, but it's staying at a 90-degree angle to your swing arc. So the ones who have figured that out and aren't coming down into the ball from here, that don't have a lot of face rotation through here, I really like that, and that's one of the reasons they're more and more consistent, and more players are figuring it out. And more teachers are trying to accomplish that regardless of how their bodies move. So there's a lot of these guys who are doing a lot of movement patterns, but at the end of the day, you'll even see people now trying to, with these, where they're trying to drop the shaft, they'll say, okay, you drop the shaft plus bow your wrist at the same time. So it's this, well, the reason for doing that is because if you drop the shaft and the face opens, you're dead because you got to flip. So all of a sudden doing this and bowing your wrist, at least at that point, they get the club back where they're from there into the ball. All they got to do is get the club to the ball, and it's going to go pretty straight. So anybody who's doing that with face, I love that. Now, anybody who's trying to work on staying away from the ball. Now, there's a lot of methods out there. There's a lot of guys talking about get here and twist first, which the good part about that, at least what I like, is you're not going to move. They don't want people moving up into the ball. So I think most of us would agree that teach, and if you don't, I don't know where you're coming from, that moving up into the ball is a detriment relative to your consistency. Have there been players that have pulled that off? Yes. But if you're moving up into the ball, early extension, it doesn't matter how flexible you are. If you're doing that and your body's moving up into the ball, you're actually slowing the club down. So if you're moving away from it, you're more stable, it's easier on your back, and you're accelerating the club through the ball because you're moving away as the club goes through the ball. That's how a hammer thrower throws a hammer. It's how a shot putter throws it. They all push away, which causes a snapping action. So anybody who maintains their distance from the ball. Past that, you know, there's tempos, there's obviously overall swings. Adam Scott's always had a great swing. Justin Rose has a great swing. From a overall just beauty. Those two guys have not a lot of face rotation through the ball, and they're trying to get less and less. Ernie Els has a fabulous looking swing, and I love the tempo, and I've loved it. I've watched him forever. I even played with him. So, I mean, the motion of that is just spectacular. But Els has a tremendous amount of face rotation through the ball. So it's hard for him to time. That's why I think he's been a little less consistent than he could have been. Phenomenal player. I mean, how can you argue with that? Freddie Couples has got, from a tempo perspective, it's incredible to watch Freddie. He's a great visual for people if you're looking at tempo. But here again, Couples has a lot of face rotation, so the timing for that is a little more difficult. As he had a great career for sure, a significantly better career than I've had relative to playing. That's not the point. So when I look at swings, overall, different players have different parts I like. Now, if you want to talk about premier swings relative to setup, movement patterns, club face, take a look at a lot of the Korean women players. I don't care, pick one. I mean, these women are coming out with these swings that are just so efficient, and they're so solid, and they hit the ball so solid. They don't need a lot of speed to hit it plenty far. And because of the way they move, they're very stable. They don't get hurt. It's incredible what they've done with a lot of their players and with their background and the way they've taught. So I hope that answers your question. There isn't one particular swing that's just exactly, I mean, I don't know, I don't watch them that much. I watch what they do well. So when I watch swings on tour and somebody's a good player, I watch what they're doing, how the motions fit or don't fit, and then I watch how are they balancing things out to be consistent with what they're doing. What's their most important part of what they do? So I look at it more that way. How's this guy doing this? How's he making this work? As opposed to who's perfect and who isn't, because I don't know that perfect exists. There are some things, though, that we keep talking about that are important. So hope that helps you. Be sure to subscribe to my channel for regular updates and tips. Thanks for watching.